Kevin Hague.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Labour and asks, does she still agree, as she did on the 13th of July 2011, with the comment made by John Key on 22nd November 2010, that I have no reason to believe that New Zealand's safety standards are any less than Australia's, and in fact our safety record for the most part has been very good?
The Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes, I agree with the Prime Minister. Further to that, we have established a Royal Commission of Inquiry to investigate all matters relating to Pike River. We've specifically asked the Commission to compare the New Zealand regulatory provisions with those used in other countries.
Kevin Hague.
Did she agree with the 15 out of 17 submitters to the Department of Labour's 2008 inquiry into improving health and safety hazard management in the underground mining industry, who considered that there were real problems requiring change, including Pike River Coal, who drew attention to the inadequacy of New Zealand mine safety regulations and the woeful state of the Mines Inspectorate?
The Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Mr. Speaker, I took advice from that report from my department and accepted the recommendations where appropriate. Can I say, Mr. Speaker, that in relation to Pike River, it is a serious tragedy that affects our nation, but there is no determination yet as to whether the tragedy was a consequence of operational and or regulatory failure. The Commission has been given a job to do of determining that, and I expect it to do so.
Kevin Hague.
Supplementary. Does the Minister recall that her Health and Safety Council heard evidence prior to the Pike River disaster from Peter Whittle, representing the Business Leaders Forum, that raised significant concerns about the regulatory framework for mining health and safety, specifically in comparison with Australia?
The Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Mr. Speaker, I recall that the issue of the qualification of mining experts and mining employees was raised, and that's why we introduced a regulation to address that.
Kevin Hague.
Supplementary, Mr. Speaker. Why does she maintain that she has no reason to believe that our standards are any less than Australia's, given the repeated warnings in the Health and Safety Council, in the submissions from virtually the entire industry to the Department of Labour, and the warnings from mine safety experts about the inadequacy of New Zealand mine safety standards? Are they all wrong?
The Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Mr. Speaker, we do take advice. We've set up the Royal Commission of Inquiry. That Commission of Inquiry will be looking at and has been looking at the regulatory framework surrounding our mining industry, and we will be taking those determinations and recommendations when they are out very, very seriously. Because like all New Zealanders, sir, we want to make sure that a tragedy such as Pike River does not happen again.
Kevin Hague.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What engagement was so important that she failed to attend the Health and Safety Council meeting on the 16th of December 2010, the first such meeting since the Pike River disaster?
The Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Mr. Speaker, I do try and attend all those council meetings, but I understand on that occasion I believe I was in Kaiapoi attending to some earthquake-related issues. That also was a national tragedy.
Kevin Hague.
Were any concerns raised with her or her department about the safety of the Pike River coal mine prior to the disaster there in November last year?
The Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Mr. Speaker, as I have explained, some concerns were raised about the qualifications of mine managers, and we did address that by regulation subsequently.
Kevin Hague.
Given the wealth of evidence that has emerged since the disaster about the lack of safety in the Pike River mine, such as inadequate gas drainage, drilling next to cavities filled with pressurised flammable gases, the answer phone issue that I told the House about previously, and the inadequate provision for escape from the mine, does she now agree that the system of regulations and inspections must have been fundamentally broken for the situation to have arisen, for her not to have heard about it, and for absolutely no corrective action to have been taken.
The Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Mr Speaker, the Royal Commission of Inquiry has not yet made any determination on any of those evidential issues, and I will wait until they do before we address the situation. As I've said, we are very serious about making sure that mining is safe in New Zealand. We do not want another tragedy like Pike River, but we do want to know what happened, why it happened, and what we can do to prevent it happening in future.
Point of order, Mr.
Point of
Speaker.
order, Kevin Hague.
I seek the leave of the House to table the minutes of the Workplace Health and Safety Council meeting number 14 from Wednesday the 16th of December 2010. It's the meeting immediately after the Pike River disaster.
Leave is sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is no objection. Supplementary question, the Honourable Damien O'Connor.
To the Minister, what is the role of the Mines Inspectorate, given her statement in a response to me that it is, quote, not to conduct a top-down audit of safety, and given the other advice that the Department of Labour gives to its inspectors, that is not to advise mines on how they should mine for fear of legal liability, what indeed did she expect the Mines Inspectorate to do?
The Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Yeah, Mr Speaker, exactly the same as what the Labour government expected of the Mines Inspectorate when they were in government. But can I say, sir, that we must not forget that the primary responsibility for workplace safety in a workplace lies with the employer. That's how it was set out in the Health and Safety and Employment Act several years ago, which act was actually amended twice by the Labour government, and they never at that stage addressed the test nor suggested that the test was inappropriate.
A supplementary question, the Honourable Damien O'Connor.
Given advice to the Minister 18 months prior that, quote, a plan needs to be developed for how inspectors will be trained and supported in professional expertise in the next 8 months, has a plan been developed? And if not, why not?
The Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Mr Speaker, as I have advised, we are taking a close look at the resources and expertise in the department to ensure it can carry out its role overseeing the mining sector.
Supplementary question, the Honourable Damien O'Connor.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Does the Minister consider that one solitary mines inspector is sufficient to uphold proper safety for miners for the miners in the hundreds of mines throughout New Zealand? If not, why isn't she doing something about it?
The Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Mr Speaker, no, I do not think that one inspector is sufficient. But actually, at the time of Pike River, we had 2 mine inspectors. Subsequent to that, one of our mines inspector was actually poached by the Queensland mining industry because they were they wanted his expertise. But can I also say, sir, the number of mining inspectors was not increased under Labour, and we are actively looking at the resources of our department.
Point of order, the Honourable Damien O'Connor.
I wish to table a page from the transcript from Michael Furman, the Chief Inspector of Mines, who states quite clearly that no plan...
The transcript to what?
From the Royal Commission, Mr. Speaker.
The current Royal Commission?
Where he states quite clearly that no plan has been developed to train and support the professional expertise of mines inspectors.
Leave is sought to table that document. Is there any objection? Sorry? There is objection. I want to be clear, there is objection, is there? There is objection.
Supplementary, Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Rick Barker.
Supplementary to the Minister. Will the Minister accept that practical professional miners who work underground and face the consequences of actions must have the right themselves to be directly involved in all safety issues, or will the government continue with its current law of making all safety decisions the sole preserve of managers who work safely at the surface?
The Honourable Kate Wilkinson.
Mr Speaker, I accept that employee participation is very important in ensuring a good workplace safety culture in any workplace, and that's why we have work progressing on that matter.
Question number 3, the Honourable Annette King.